Good evening and welcome to the Gospel Truth. I am Brother Alan Jackson, bringing to you spiritual songs and hymns and the power of the spoken word of God. First of all, giving thanks to God Almighty for blessing me with this another opportunity, yet beyond this the time side of life, and to have this another blessed privilege to come to you in His name by way of this television medium and to bring to you another message from His holy and divine word. I want to continue to express my appreciation to the production staff for their service to the gospel truth. And it's my prayer that God will continue to bless each one of them with those things that He knows that they are standing in need of. And I'm praying on your behalf as observers of this program that God will bless you and your family with those things that He knows that you're standing in need of as well. And I'm encouraging you to pray on my behalf because I'm also standing in need of prayer. And it's only God who can provide me with those things that I am standing in need of. And of course, as I always do, I want to make you mindful of the fact that if you happen to be in need of some social assistance, let me give you the number, 211, that's 211. If you call 211, that's a referral service. And when you basically state what your needs are or your concerns are, then they will direct you to the resource that will be able to provide you with the assistance that you're standing in need of. So remember, 211. And then also keep in mind, I know that the economy is turning around, and I know that there's still a number of people who are unemployed. Well, the East Bay Works One-Stop Career Centers are located throughout Alameda and Contra Costa counties. And if you go to www.eastbayworks.org, there you'll be able to find the location of the One-Stop Career Center that is nearest to you. And then you can go over and participate in the program that they have and have access to computers and telephones and fax machines and resume writing workshops and resume critiquing and all those things that you will need to assist you becoming gainfully employed. All right? So now, this evening we're going to deviate from our programming norm. What we're going to do this evening, actually I guess I'm going to call this the election special. All right, the election special. Now, up and coming Tuesday, November the 6th, will be a great day for all of you who have registered to vote. A sad day for those of you who failed to register, and now you won't get a chance to vote. So you won't have a chance to really complain because you didn't exercise your right. But to all of you good citizens who registered and are now ready to participate in the democratic process, I certainly want to encourage you and your family to go out and to vote for the president that is up and coming, that election. So keep in mind that I would never tell you who to vote for, but I believe if you love the Lord that you're going to do the right thing and vote for the right person. This evening I'm going to present to you a little brief snippet of a presentation that was made by the Georgia Congressman John Lewis. Back in the spring, Barbara Lee and Elihu Harris, that's Congresswoman Barbara Lee, and Chancellor Elihu Harris presented a lecture series, and they brought to Oakland Congressman John Robert Lewis. And Congressman Lewis was a prominent figure during the 60s civil rights movement, and currently he is serving in Congress. He was in Oakland, and he told, several little stories, but this one in particular, I think it might have an impact upon you, and hopefully it will encourage you and motivate you to please go out there and vote. Exercise your voting power. And then he will be followed by the renowned author, civil rights attorney, Dr. Fred Gray. Now, in the summer. Actually, it was right at Labor Day, the Labor Day weekend. I happened to have been in Nashville, Tennessee, where I had the opportunity to attend school there early on in my years, the Nashville Christian Institute. And one of our schoolmates was none other than the renowned Dr. Fred Gray. Dr. Gray is also a famed attorney in that he was the one who represented Rosa Parks and also Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so Fred was at the reunion, and on the evening of the banquet, he made a statement. He basically made a little speech, a presentation. So I'm inviting you to engage in this presentation that he will make, and some of it probably won't be really relevant to you, but it's a good speech presentation. But the very last part is for you, and that's why I'm calling this the election special. And I certainly want you to do everything in your power to go to the polls and participate in the election, because this is truly an event that you shouldn't miss, nor the people in your household who have registered to vote. Okay? So let's see now. I think that's about it. Oh, we do have a prayer list, and we will get back to the prayer list real soon. Just keep the faith, okay? So without any further remarks, let's now listen to John Lewis, to be followed by Fred Gray.
Back in 1963-64, the state of Mississippi had a black voting age population of more than 450,000, and only about 16,000 were registered to vote. One county in my native state of Alabama, between Selma and Montgomery, the county was more than 80% African American, but not a single registered African American voter. You have to change that. I remember in the march on Washington was all over, after the two of us spoken, after Dr. King had said, I have a dream today, a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. President Kennedy invited us back to the White House, and we stood in the door of the Oval Office, he did, and greeted each one of us. He said, you did a good job, you did a good job, you did a good job. You're like a proud father, and everything that goes so well. When he got to Dr. King, he said, and you had a dream. But after the march was over, 18 days later, was a terrible bombing of the church in Birmingham, Alabama. Where 4 little girls were killed on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
That was a sad and dark hour for the movement. It tore at the essence of our hearts. Again, we didn't become bitter. We kept the faith. We kept our eye on the prize. We organized something called the Mississippi Summer Project. But more than 1,000 students, many came from California, teaching in the Freedom School, trying to prepare people to pass the so-called literacy test. And 3 young men that I knew, Andy Goodman, Nick Schreiner from New York City, and James Cheney from Mississippi, went out on a summer night of June 21st, 1964, to investigate the burning of an African American church. The church was used for voter registration workshop. These 3 young men were stopped by the sheriff, arrested, taken to jail, taken out of jail, thrown to the Klan, where they were beaten, shot, and killed. And I said to you tonight, Oakland, these 3 young men didn't die in Vietnam.
No, sir.
They didn't die in the Middle East. They didn't die in Eastern Europe. They didn't die in Central or South America. They died right here in our own country, trying to get all our people to become participants in the democratic process. That's why we got to go out and vote like we never, ever voted before. We can use
person who's here tonight who, of those of us who are here, is the oldest one. Because when I came to NCI in October of 1953, I found Robert Woods. Robert is here, retired from Texas. There's another person you need to know a little bit more about who's here. And David knows him better than I do because I think they were in school together. Wendell Gunn. Stand up, Wendell. Now, there are a lot of things about this man. I didn't know him at all until, because I had gone through NCI and finished college, finished law school, and had met his mother, probably down at Southwestern. And I got a call from her one day about her son who had gone to NCI, who had gone to Tennessee State for a while. They were from the Tri-City areas of Alabama, and he wanted to go to Florence State. This was in 1963. I had filed a case so that Vivian Malone could go to the University of Alabama and Harold Franklin could go to Auburn. And I said, well, that's East Alabama, there's West Alabama, and Florence State's in North Alabama. And his mother talked with me and told me he wanted to go. And do you know, the president of that school, and I found some of this just last night, you know, you find out bits and pieces of things. But when he went to, I knew he had gone to Florence State, and I knew the president of the school had told him, because he did it in writing, and the only of all the civil rights cases I've had, his case was the easiest one. And the president of Florence State made it easy, because he told him that the governor of the state of Alabama, the superintendent of education, not the state board of education, have authorized me to admit African Americans to Florence State, so I can't admit you. I filed a lawsuit. We had a hearing before Judge Grooms in Birmingham, and in less than 20 minutes, an order was issued. The president of Florence State, now the University of North Alabama, took him, put him in their car, enrolled him, and he ended up being one of the greatest students ever attended that institution. Now, some other things you probably don't know about him, and that is, he has made speeches at the National Democratic Republican Convention. He served in President Reagan's cabinet in the White House. He's an entrepreneur. He's a scientist. He's a businessman. He is almost everything, and it all started at NCI.
Hello.
So the third thing I just want to mention to you in passing, we enjoyed today a wonderful luncheon and fellowship at Lipscomb University. The same university, and I was very honored during the first part of June for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A series of activities which were organized by Lipscomb to honor a black young man who had finished NCI and who had sued Lipscomb University because they took the money and used it, even though they used it for educating some African Americans. But for reasons best known to themselves, they wanted to honor me. And I want those of you who were not present at that event to know, and those of you who were present, you know, that while I thank them for the degree But I really accepted it, among others, on behalf of each one of you who attended NCI and who could not attend David Lipscomb College at that time. So I wanted to
Thank you.
We have gotten to the point now where we think that things just happen. But things don't just happen.
Right.
I am sure that event that took place, and I probably will never know, and I'm not trying to find out everything behind how or why Lipscomb decided to do what it decided to do. But when opportunities present themselves, we have to at least look at them, and we have to take advantage of them, not on my individual behalf, because the very things I've done in civil rights wasn't for me. It was because I saw a problem that needed to be solved and was willing to make an effort toward solving it. Didn't know whether we would or not, but we were able to do it. And many of you think that the wonderful luncheon we had today and the good fellowship we had was fine. And it really helped our budget a great deal, because if we had had to finance a picnic, we would have had to increase our registration fee. But you know that didn't just happen. On that Wednesday, that Friday before, I was conferred the degree, and after the President Lipscomb and I had a press conference, I was sitting there and we were talking about all of these various and sundry things. And I had met the President before, when he was at Pepperdine and when I was lecturing out there some years before. And I told him, I said, Mr. President, you don't know it, I don't think, but the Nashville Christian Institute Alumni Association, we meet every other year, the reunion. And we're going to meet this year in Nashville over Labor Day weekend. And it would be real nice if Lipscomb would have an event for us. And I expected him to say, well, we'll think about it. But you know what he said? He said, we're going to do it. And he said it right there. And after he conferred the degree upon me later on that evening, he told the whole world that they were going to do it. So what happened this afternoon was great, but I didn't want you to think it just accidentally happened.
Well.
There are many things and many opportunities that come your way. You have to be able to recognize opportunities when they come. And you must take advantage of them, because that opportunity may never come again.
Right.
The last thing, well, I'll tell you one other thing. And the President kind of told you something else. Now, I have enough sense to know that usually when people do all the things that Lipscomb has done for me, that there's something that they want me to do. Now I understand.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm willing to be used. And there is something that they want me to do. And he even implied a part of it to you. I wasn't going to tell him about it, and still not, other than to say that I'm willing to do whatever I can do to help conditions in this country, and to help the church, and to help to try to unite the black church and the white church. But I also am not going to do it at the expense of doing anything that's going to hurt you. It's going to have to be a mutual relationship where we will receive something and Lipscomb will receive something. And if we're all one, the Lord will help us. Yeah. And most of the things I do, I talk to a whole lot of folks about. And I have enough sense to know that I'm not going to be able to do what all these folks say, but I'd like to get different opinions. So, an official proposal has been made to me about something. I'm considering it. There's some people that I have great respect for. We're going to think about it, talk about it, and pray about it. And if we think it's in the best interest of both groups, then we will then move forward under whatever conditions we think we should. I think that's enough about that. The final thing, and this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say here. The election that's going to take place on the first Tuesday in November will probably be the most important election of your life.
Yes.
Now, if you stay at home, if your neighbors stay at home, if you decide because you don't agree with everything and think that President Obama hasn't done everything he should have done or could have done for African Americans, if you stay at home and don't vote and don't get other people to vote, think about who's going to be in office and think about what the result of that's going to be. And when you compare the two,
Well,
while he is not perfect, he's far from it,
well,
what president of the United States that you have heard about during your lifetime or read about since the history of this country where there has been so much hate directed against any individual? Most of the time, I don't care how divided the political parties are, whether you're Republican or whether you're a Democrat. Once you get to the office carries with it a certain amount of prestige and power, and you respect the office regardless of who sits there.
yeah.
And the only reason the President of these United States has been criticized and talked about and degraded, even the office of the President, is because he's a person of color.
Yes.
There are some key states in this country that the President needs us. He needs us in all of them. But I have enough sense to know that my state of Alabama, and I'm chairman of the Democratic Executive Committee of my county, in our county, Macon County, for the last 2 presidential elections, we have had the highest percentage of vote for the Democratic nominee. And we'll do that again this coming November. But I have enough sense to know that with our population, my good white brothers and sisters are going to vote in favor of the president. But Florida is a key state. Ohio is a key state. Pennsylvania is a key state. Wisconsin is a key state. You know the other key states, and many of you know folks in those states. And you need to get on your phone and get on whatever these electronic things you use or whatever you use and tell those folks, regardless of whatever differences we have, we will be better off with President Obama being re-elected than for anybody else to be elected. 2 weeks from tonight, 2 weeks from today, 15th of September, there is a part of Florida where you don't have many people who look like us, and that's the Panhandle of Florida, from Pensacola over to Panama City. That part of Florida that really ought to have been Alabama, but right under Alabama. I spoke to the black Republicans down in Destin. Wasn't many of them, and there was a few whites and some blacks. And there's a black young lady who's a member of the church in Red Bay, and they only have about 5% black population, and she's on the school board and been on that board for, what, 15 or 20 years. So they have invited me to come to a mass meeting where they're going to try to get Democrats, independents, African Americans, working class people, Hispanics, and have a big meeting in Depuniac Spring at high noon on the 15th. And I've told them I'm willing to come to Florida And if they get the people there and we can energize them enough to get out and get other people registered, and I told them you got to do it early enough. So, and that's why it's the 15th, so that we'll have some time to get people registered and then get them to the polls. So it's important to you. If you know anybody in any of these states, anywhere, you need to use your influence to do it. Now, all of what Dr. Mitchell has talked about in describing how conditions used to be in Nashville, we can take that same example across this country, where you have had African-American businesses, and many of them, for various reasons, are no longer there. A part of the process of breaking down the walls has been, or has resulted, whether it wasn't intended to be, but it has resulted in losing many of those things. Some we can gain, there are other things we can continue to gain, but my plea to you, when you leave here and when you go back, get on your phone, do whatever you do, including sending a little money to the Democrats so we can help get the president elected, because it takes money to do it, and the Republicans have a lot of money. But it's important for us. It's important for this nation. What we have had to do as African Americans, you know now, it's popular to talk about civil rights, and the South has learned that they can now make money out of tourism. When we were working hard in the 50s and the 60s in Montgomery, we couldn't get the city officials to do anything. Now, they want to take the whole civil rights movement away from us and conduct it the way they want to, because they can make money out of it. What we're going to need to do is do everything we can to be sure that we keep this president. Amen. You can do it. I know you will. Whatever our differences are, let's forget about these differences till over the election, get him back in office, and then once we get him in, he can't run another time.
Well,
so we can then say, you do all those things you didn't do, and you can do it. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you.
so I trust that you were enlightened by both of those speakers, and all I can do is encourage you to go out and vote. If you didn't register, you're too late. So you won't have a chance to participate. You won't even have a right to complain, because you didn't do the right thing and exercise your power to vote. But to those of you who did register and who are registered and who votes regularly, I bid you Godspeed, and I trust that you will go to the polls and that you will do the right thing. And don't forget, vote for your choice. All right? And do the right thing. Thank you. And so, until next week, if it's God's will, when the Gospel of Truth will once again come your way, bringing to you spiritual songs and hymns and the power of the spoken word. It's my prayer that God will continue to bless you and your family and to keep you all safe.